Sankirtanam. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The Sankirtana movement we have started offers the best process for becoming purified of all sinful reactions, coming immediately to the platform of spiritual life. Ah, wonderful. Text number 12. The ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures are insufficient to cleanse the heart absolutely because after atonement, one's mind again runs toward material activities. And that's what the happens to the um, what's the name of that? Anyway, I'll come back to it.
Are you Samaj?
No, no. Oh yeah, the Christians.
Hmm.
Yeah, they go and do
Carolyn.
yeah, and then after that they go back and sin again.
Hmm.
Consequently, for one who
Confession.
wants liberation from the fruitive reactions of material activities, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra or glorification of the name, fame, and pastimes of the Lord is recommended as the most perfect process of atonement, because such chanting eradicates the dirt from one's heart completely. Haribol. Right? Next purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The statements in this verse have been confirmed previously in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-17. Shimvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantakstopi Abhadrani Vidunati Suhitsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, supersurface, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. It is the special mercy of the Supreme Lord that as soon as he knows that one is glorifying his name, fame, attributes, he personally helps cleanse the dirt from one's heart. Therefore, simply by such glorification, one not only becomes purified, but also achieves the results of pious activities. Punya Shravana Kirtana. Punya Shravana Kirtana refers to the process of devotional service. Even if one does not understand the meaning of the Lord's name, pastimes, or attributes, one is purified simply by hearing or chanting of them. Such purification is called sattva bhavana. One man One main purpose in human life should be to purify his existence and achieve liberation. As long as one has a material body, one is understood to be impure. In such an impure material condition, one cannot enjoy a truly blissful life, although everyone seeks it. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1 says, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam sudayat. One must perform tapasya. austerity to purify his existence in order to come to the spiritual platform. The tapasya of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, and attributes of the Lord is a very easy purifying process by which everyone can be happy. Therefore, everyone who desires the ultimate cleansing of his heart must adopt this process. Other processes such as karma, jnana, and yoga cannot cleanse the heart absolutely. Okay, so it's a uh, very strong statement to support chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And therefore it says the tapasya of chanting and glorifying the name, fame, and attributes of the Lord is a very easy purifying process by which everyone can be happy. Therefore, everyone who desires the ultimate cleansing of his heart must adopt this process. Other processes such as karma, jnana, and yoga cannot cleanse the heart absolutely. Okay, there it is. Best statements why we should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra always. Text 13. At the time of death, this Ajamila helplessly and very loudly chanted the holy name of Lord Narayana. That chanting alone has already freed him from the reactions of all sinful life. Therefore, O servants of Yamaraja, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. In hellish conditions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. The Vishnu Dutas, who are superior authorities, gave orders to the Yamadutas, who did not know that Ajamila was no longer subject to tribulation in hellish life for his past sins. Although he had chanted the holy name Narayana to indicate his son, the holy name is so transcendently powerful that he was automatically freed because he had chanted the holy name while dying. Ante Narayana Smriti. As Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 7:28, Ye sam tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandra mohanir mukta bhajanti mam vrataha. This is a very nice verse. Prabhupada often repeats it. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Unless one is freed from all sinful reactions, one cannot be promoted to the platform of devotional service. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 8.5, it is stated, Antakale chimameva smaran mukha kalevaram yaprayati sa madbhavam yati nasti atra samsaya. If one remembers Krishna, Narayana, at the time of death, one is certainly eligible to return immediately home back to Godhead. Okay, so there you have this Antakali Chamam Eva Smaranukva Kalevram Ya Prayati Samad Bhavam Yati Nasti Atra Samsaya. If one remembers Krishna, Narayana, at the time of death, one is certainly eligible to return immediately home back to Godhead. Haribol. So we should be practiced in chanting the holy names of the Lord. That's why we chant our minimum 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra every day, but that's only the minimum. There's no maximum. We can chant millions of times. Okay, text 14. Sanket yam parihas yam va sob an hilanam evadva vaikunta nama grahanam asesa haram vidu. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else. Jokingly, for musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. So, this chanting of the holy name is something that is absolute. Whether you do it uh, out of seriously, or you do it in a very, let's say, flippant, nonsense way, still it is purifying. One may be jokingly saying Hare Krishna, but or even being neglectfully. Still, one is purified by chanting. Because the holy name is not something material. It has come down from the spiritual world. Anyone who repeats the holy name immediately gets purification. Okay, text number 15. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such a falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. So, if one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones, while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved, meaning purified, from having and to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Wow, that's a wonderful verse. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yam Yam Bhakti Swaram Bhavam, Tejat Ante Kalevaram, Tam Tam Ivaiti Konte Yasadata Bhava Bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without such practice, however, if one somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, when he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death. That is very good information. That just shows the glorious nature of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. It is the most auspicious thing that a person can do in this life, because by chanting the holy names of the Lord, one is qualified to go back to the spiritual world. Text 16. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement. And one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. Okay, there it is. The definitive statement of the transcendental nature of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. It can purify all sins that a person has committed if he chants sincerely and continues to chant. That's the real, let's say, culture of Krishna consciousness. Of course, one may chant just once in his life. That's still beneficial. But one who always chants, that's much more beneficial. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Like he kidnapped a beautiful lady that he wanted to marry. Let's see what it says. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana, and since, according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya's daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor. That means you have to fight, and fight to the death, actually. Samba abducted her, means he kidnapped her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kauravas. Later, when Lord Balaram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Yeah, they should have killed him normally. Since the argument was not settled, Balarama showed his power in such a way that all of Hastinapura trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Yeah, he started to move the whole uh, the whole earth with I think he put some kind of uh, uh, some kind of he put something metal or some kind of a very sharp uh, instrument in the earth and started to drag it, and it was like an earthquake.
It's a plow kind of thing.
Yeah, plow. Okay, yeah. Then the matter was settled, and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equaled in the material world. However powerful the reactions of one's sins, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hari, Krishna, Balaram, or Narayana. Well, we are chanting every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram 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 Hare Hare.
So that is powerful way to get rid of one's sins is by always chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And it says that, however powerful the reactions of one's sins, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hare Krishna, Balarama, or Narayana. Text number 17. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot, let me repeat, cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. A very important statement. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the personality Godhead, he is immediately freed from all contaminations. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42, Bhakti Parisanubhavo Viraktir Anyatra Cha. Devotional service is so powerful that one who performs devotional service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. All desires within this material world are sinful because material desire means sense gratification, which always involves action that is more or less sinful. Pure bhakti, however, is anyavilasita sunya. In other words, it is free from material desires, which result from karma and jnana. One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires, and therefore he is beyond sinful life. Material desires should be completely stopped. Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, charities may free one from sin for the time being, one's desires will reappear because his heart is impure. Very true statement. Thus, he will act sinfully and suffer. Haribol. Text number 18. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Fire will act regardless of whether handled by an innocent child or by someone well aware of its power. For example, if a field of straw or dry grass is set afire, either by an elderly man who knows the power of fire or by a child who does not, the grass will burn to ashes. Similarly, the grass will be burned to ashes. Similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions. Wow. That is the greatest statement for chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. One will be, it says here, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions. Okay? Whether you know about it or you don't know about it, you'll become free from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Text 19. If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge, because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy, second, second, the holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be effective. Wow, that's a wonderful statement. That's why we are chanting every day the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the Western countries, where the Hare Krishna movement is spreading, learned scholars and other thoughtful men are realizing its effectiveness. For example, Dr. J. Stilson Judah, a learned scholar, has been very much attracted to this movement because he has actually seen that it is turning hippies addicted to drugs into pure Vaishnavas who voluntarily become servants of Krishna and humanity. Even a few years ago, such hippies did not know the Hare Krishna mantra, but now they are chanting it and becoming pure Vaishnavas. Thus, they are becoming free from all sinful activities, such as illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. This is practical proof of the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna movement, which is supported in this verse. One may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one somehow or other chants it, he will immediately be purified, just as one who takes a potent medicine will feel its effects, regardless of whether he takes it knowingly or unknowingly. And that's a wonderful purport. And it mentions Dr. J. Stilson Judah, a learned scholar, has been very much attracted to this movement because he has actually seen that it is turning hippies addicted to drugs into pure Vaishnavas who voluntarily become servants of Krishna and humanity. So that's the proof that chanting Hare Krishna can purify anyone. Text 20. Shri Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, having thus perfectly judged the principles of devotional service with reason and arguments, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu released the Brahmana Ajamila from the bondage of the Yamadutas and saved him from imminent death. Wow, wonderful. Text 21. My dear Maharaj Parikshit, O subduer of all envy, after the servants of Yamaraja had been answered by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, they went to Yamaraja and explained to him everything that had happened. Yeah, because they didn't understand how is it possible that someone so simple as Ajamil could be immediately purified by chanting Hare Krishna. They couldn't understand it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word pratyudita is very significant. The servants of Yamaraja are so powerful that they can never be hindered in anywhere. But this time, they were baffled and disappointed in their attempt to take away a man they considered sinful. Therefore, they immediately returned to Yamaraja and described to him everything that has happened. Text 22. Having been released from the nooses of Yamaraj's servants, the Brahmana Ajamila, now free from fear, came to his senses and immediately offered obeisances to Vishnudutas by bowing his head at their lotus feet. He was extremely pleased by their presence, for he had seen them save his life from the hands of the servants of Yamaraja. That's really good fortune. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Vaishnavas are also Vishnudutas because they carry out the orders of Krishna. Lord Krishna is very eager for all conditioned souls rotting in this material world to surrender to him and be saved from material pangs in this life and punishment in hellish conditions after death. Wow, that must be horrible. Hellish conditions after death. A Vaishnava therefore tries to bring conditioned souls to their senses. Those who are fortunate, like Ajamila, are saved by the Vishnudutas or Vaishnavas, and thus they return back home, back to Godhead. Text 23. O sinless Maharaj Parikshit, the order carriers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Vishnudutas, saw that Ajamila was attempting to say something, and thus they suddenly disappeared from his presence. First word when she was Prabhupada. Second. The Shastras say, Papista te durachara, deva brahmana nindaka, apatya bhojanas te sam, akale maranam dhruvam. For persons who are papista, very sinful, and durachara, misbehaved, or very unclean in their habits, who are against the existence of God, who disrespect Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and who eat anything and everything untimely, death is sure. It is said that in Kali Yuga, one has a maximum lifetime of 100 years. But as people become degraded, the duration of their lives decreases. Prayanapayusa. Because Ajamila was now free from all sinful reactions, his lifetime was extended, even though he was to have died immediately. When the Vishnudutas saw Ajamila trying to say something to them, they disappeared to give him a chance to glorify the Supreme Lord. Since all his sins, all his sinful reactions had been vanquished, he now prepared to glorify the Lord. Indeed, one cannot glorify the Lord unless one is completely free from all sinful activities. Wow. This is confirmed by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Yesam Svantagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam Te Dvandva Mohanir Mukta Vijantis Mam Triturvata. Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, and who are freed from the duality of illusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. The Vishnu Dutas made Ajamila aware of devotional service so that he might immediately become fit to return home back to Godhead. To increase his eagerness to glorify the Lord, they disappeared so that he would feel separation in their absence. In the mode of separation, glorification of the Lord is very intense. Okay, text number 24 and 25. And it says, after hearing the discourses between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas, Ajamila could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes of material nature. These principles are mentioned in the three Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles, which are above the modes of material nature, and which concern the relationship between living being and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Al-Jamila heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities, and pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted, having performed. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 2.45, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtagunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandvo Nityasattvasto Niryuga Shima Atmavan. The Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the three modes of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. It's a beautiful verse. The Vedic principles certainly prescribe a gradual process for rising to the spiritual platform, but if one remains attached to the Vedic principles, there is no chance of his being elevated to spiritual life. Very important statement. Krishna therefore advised Arjuna to perform devotional service, which is the process of transcendental religion. The transcendental position of devotional service is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti ahoksaje. Bhakti, devotional service, is paro dharma, transcendental dharma. It is not material dharma. People generally think that religion should be pursued for material profits. This may be suitable for persons interested in material life, but one who is interested in spiritual life should be attached to paro dharma, the religious principles by which one becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Yato Bhaktir Ahoksaje. The Bhagavata religion teaches that the Lord and the living entity are eternally related, and that the duty of the living entity is to surrender to the Lord. when one is situated on a platform of devotional service, one is freed from impediments and completely satisfied. Haituki apratihata eyatma suprasiditi. Having been elevated to that platform, Ajamila began to lament for his past materialistic activities and glorify the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow. Let's see how wonderful Krishna consciousness is. Text 26. Ajamila said, alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahmin and begot children in the womb of a prostitute. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yeah, I know some devotees who got married to a prostitute. He was a very good devotee, and Prabhupada liked him very much, but for some reason or other, he got all confused and he married a prostitute. That didn't last very long, and he realized he made a big mistake. Purport: the men of the higher classes, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, do not beget children in the wombs of lower class women. Well, that's good news. Therefore, the custom in Vedic society is to examine the horoscopes of a girl and boy being considered for marriage to see whether their combination is suitable. Vedic astrology reveals whether one has been born in the Vipra Varna, Kshatriya Varna, Vaishya Varna, or Sudra Varna, according to the three qualities of material nature. This must be examined because a marriage between a boy of the Vipra Varna and a girl of the Sudra Varna is incompatible. The Vipra Varna means that he is spiritually, qualified, and the Sudra Varna means not qualified at all. Married life would be miserable for both husband and wife. Consequently, a boy should marry a girl of the same category. Of course, this is trigunya, a material calculation. Very good statement. According to the Vedas, but if the boy and girl are devotees, there need be no such considerations. Yeah, a devotee is transcendental, and therefore, in a marriage between devotees, the boy and girl form a very happy combination. Yeah, one time there was one nice devotee, and he got involved with a woman. Involved. He didn't have sex or anything, but he got involved, and he was serious about marrying her. But when he did when he had his what do you call it? Horoscope. And it turned out that there was no way that he should marry that girl. So he came to me and said, Prabhu, I want to marry this girl, but I had her horoscope done and my horoscope, and we're completely incompatible. No way that we should get married. What should I do? I said, well, if you maintain a mundane life, you should not marry her at all. It'll be a disaster for you and for her. But if you want to have a spiritual life in Krishna consciousness, then you can ignore what the horoscope says because it will not influence you at all because you're strictly Krishna conscious. He said, "Yeah, is that right?" I said, "Yes." He got married to her, and they're still married now. Yeah, because the horoscope can tell you some things, but if you're Krishna conscious, you can override that horoscope prediction because you've completely surrendered to Krishna. So he and his wife are still married now, years or a long time, and they've never left. They've never, parted. Text 27. Alas, all condemnation upon me. I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. Indeed, I gave up my chaste and beautiful young wife to have sexual intercourse with a fallen prostitute, accustomed to drinking wine. All condemnation upon me. This is the purport. This is the mentality of one who is becoming a pure devotee. When one is elevated to the platform of devotional service by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master, one first regrets his past sinful activities. This helps one advance in spiritual life. Yeah, he doesn't brag about how many women he had sex with and things like that. He regrets it. The Vishnu Dutas had given Ajamila the chance to become a pure devotee. And the duty of a pure devotee is to regret his past sinful activities in illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. Yeah, he's not puffed up because he did all these things. He regrets it, realizing that they're very sinful. Not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion. Now, I really like that statement that Prabhupada has made here. Very important statement. One should regret all the sinful activities one has performed. Okay, 628. Second. My father and mother were old and had no other son or friend to look after them. Because I did not take care of them, they lived with great difficulty. Alas, like an abominable lower class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition. That's not good. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, everyone has the responsibility for taking care of brahmanas, old men, women, children, and cows. I'm glad they put cows in there. Good. This is the duty of everyone, especially an upper class person. Because of his association with a prostitute, Ajamila abandoned all his duties. Regretting this, Ajamila now considered himself quite fallen. That's a very bad situation to be in. Very, very bad. What time is it now?
It's 35.
Sorry,
Almost.
okay. I'll just do one more. Text 29. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles and must there suffer extreme miseries. Wow. Yeah, Jamil is becoming real serious now. Oh, okay. There's no purport. So text 30. Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone? Text 31. And where have those four liberated and beautiful persons gone who released me from arrest and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions? So he saw both the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas. Purport. As we have learned from the descriptions in the fifth canto, the hellish planets are situated in the lower portions of this universe. Therefore, they are called Adho Ruva. Ajamila could understand that the Yamadutas had come from that region. Text 30. We'll end on this verse. I am certainly most abominable and unfortunate to have merged in an ocean of sinful activities. But nevertheless, because of my previous spiritual activities, I could see those four exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now, I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2254, Sadhusanga Sarva Shastra Kaya Lava Matra Sadhusanga Sarva Siddhihaya. Association with devotees is recommended by all Shastras because by even a moment of such association, one can receive the seed for all perfection. Wow. In the beginning of his life, Ajamila was certainly very pure, and he associated with devotees and brahmanas because of that pious activity. Even though he was fallen, he was inspired to name his son Narayana. Certainly, this was due to a good counsel given from within by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarva Shikshaham Priti Samavisto Matak Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgiveness. The Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, is so kind that if one had ever rendered service to him, the Lord never forgets him. Thus, the Lord, from within, gave Ajamila the opportunity to name his youngest son Narayana, so that in affection he would constantly call Narayana, Narayana, and thus be saved from the most fearful, dangerous condition at the time of his death. What is that? That is to take his next birth as an animal. That's the most fearful and dangerous condition at the time of death. Such is the mercy of Guru. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. By the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti. This association saves a devotee from the greatest fear. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore change a devotee's name to a form that reminds him of Vishnu. If at the time of death the devotee can remember his own name, such as Krishna Das or Govinda Dasa, he can be saved from the greatest danger. Oh, I really like that. It's wonderful. That is really wonderful. Therefore, the change of names at the time of initiation is essential. The Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Okay, so that's why we get names when we get initiated. And those names usually are names of Krishna. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We'll stop right there. Are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
It's a very nice explanation, Maharaj, why the new names are given
Yeah,
and deep meaning to it
yeah.
and benefit.
So our takeaway for today is the following. It says, as the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya chaham priti sanivista mataksmiti jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, is so kind that if one has ever rendered service to him, the Lord never forgets him. Oh, now that is real mercy. That is real mercy. The Lord never forgets him. Thus, the Lord from within gave Ajamila the opportunity to name his youngest son Narayana, so that in affection he would constantly call Narayana, Narayana, and thus be saved from the most fearful and dangerous condition at the time of his death. What is the most fearful and dangerous condition? That is to get your next body as an animal for being sinful, or less than that, like a cockroach or something like that. Thus, the Lord from within gave Ajamila the opportunity to name his youngest son Narayana, so that in affection he would constantly call Narayana, Narayana, and thus be saved from the most fearful and dangerous condition at the time of death. Such is the mercy of Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. By the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti. This association saves a devotee from the greatest fear. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore change a devotee's name to a form that reminds him of Vishnu. If at the time of death the devotee can remember his own name. That's really wonderful. Can remember his own name, such as Krishna Das or Govinda Das. He can be saved from the greatest danger. Therefore, the change of names at the time of initiation is essential. The Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj, one question. So regarding the names that everyone has, and my initiated name has Hari in it, and some initiated names can have a connection to Krishna. So from Ajamila story and the power of the names, so a name directly Krishna or a name that is connected to Krishna are they equally potential?
I didn't quite understand the last sentence of your statement. What is
Ah.
it?
So the direct name of Krishna, like Narayana, Hari, Govinda, Mukunda, Achyuta, versus like Janardana, Madhusudana, something like connected to Krishna, or some other names like name that has the DOS of Supreme Controller. So direct name of Krishna versus the name that are connected to Krishna, do they have same equal potency based on the Azamila story?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything that helps you to remember Krishna is transcendental.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I had a dilemma, Guru Maharaj, because when we name the kids and we are referring to Krishna by meaning, but when we look through the Sanskrit names or if you search the Sastra, we don't find that exact word. So I was wondering, should we have used a direct name of Krishna instead of something that refers to Krishna?
Well, both ways you end up with Krishna. But if like instead of giving a name, let's say like your son Abi, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So you put Abhivardhan. So Abhivardhan is the fearless, the supreme controller, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is referring to supreme control as
Krishna, yeah.
it's Krishna. But if you gave your son the name like Abraham
Yeah.
instead of Abi, you give him the name Abraham. Well, that's a Christian, let's say, word, but it doesn't have the same potency as Abi because Abi is concerned. Refers to what? What does it mean?
Fearless Ishvara.
Yeah, so Ishvara is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yeah, or you didn't give your son a name like Bill or Joe or Mike, Mo, all the stupid names. You gave him a name that it connects him to Krishna. So, and that's why it says here. That's very interesting what Prabhupada says here. He says that such is the mercy of Guru. I'm sorry. Such is the mercy of Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakta Lata Bija. By the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, one receives the seed of bhakti. The association saves the devotee from the greatest fear. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we therefore changed a devotee's name to a form that reminds him of Krishna. If at the time of death the devotee can remember his own name, such as Krishna Das or Govinda Das, he can be saved from the greatest danger, that is, to be born in his next life as an animal, by forgetting everything about Krishna. Therefore, the change of names at the time of initiation is essential. The Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Therefore, the name that you receive in Krishna consciousness is very important, because for the rest of your life, people will be calling your name, your Krishna conscious name, and you will also be saying your name, and you'll always be remembering Krishna. So therefore it says the Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Therefore it says, therefore the change of names at the time of initiation is essential. The Krishna consciousness movement is so meticulous that it gives one a good opportunity to remember Krishna somehow or other. Yeah, so somehow or other means you get a name of Krishna when you're initiated, and therefore you can always remember Krishna simply by your name. And people will be calling you by that name all the time. Okay, so I think we'll stop right there today. Are there any questions or comments? You see, when Ajamila named his last son Narayana, it saved his life, even though he was so sinful. And the last thing he said was Narayana. He was calling his son. He didn't mean Narayana, the Supreme Lord. He was calling his son Narayana. So right away, because he was so sinful, the Yamadutas came to take him to hell. But at the same time, the Vishnu Dutas came because he was saying the name Narayana, although he was calling his son, but the name Narayana is absolute. So therefore, the Vishnu Dutas took possession of Ajamila and did not let the Yamadutas take him to hell. Now, when that happened, the Yamadutas got confused. So they went back to Yamaraj and they asked, look, something strange just happened. There's this one guy named Ajamila who's very, very sinful. And we went to, get him and take him to hell where he belongs. But the Vishnudutas came and they stopped us. And we didn't understand why, Is it true that even if you're the most sinful person, but because you said the name of Vishnu, all your sins go away? And Yamaraj said, yes, it's true. Because the Yamadutas were surprised, because Arjuna had committed so many sinful activities. But because he said gave the name Narayana to his son, he was always saying the name Narayana. And that saved him from death, but saved him from going back to hell. So that's the blessing of giving spiritual names to children. Right? Simply by calling your child, hey, Krishna, hey, Govinda, hey, so-and-so, Krishna, come here. Well, you're saying the name of God. You're becoming purified simply by calling your child's name. Okay, very good. I think we'll stop right there. If there's no more questions, I will adjourn and we'll pick it up again tonight.
So Maharaj, one clarification on the last line of text 27.
27. Yeah.
It says, not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion.
Yes.
So my question, Maharaj, is like regret, not like extent like always regretting and not focusing on chanting, or just regret is there, but more focus on chanting. Is that the right understanding?
Well, if you don't regret, then you might feel, let's say, proud that you committed so many sins. You have to regret it. But some people, say, well, I did this and I did that. I don't do it anymore, but I did this and I did that. Right? So, yeah, there are some people that cannot forget how nasty that they behaved in the past. And sometimes they are happy that they did it. They don't regret it. That's why it says, not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion. So we shouldn't be proud, or we shouldn't, uh, say, well, I did this and I did that. We should regret it and try and forget about it, because all those sinful activities are contaminating. So he says, not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion.
Thank you. Thank you.
So he shouldn't say, well, I had so much sex, and no, that's nothing. One should regret it. It shouldn't be like thinking that, oh, this was a thing that I did, that it was amazing. No, it's completely disgusting. Okay.
Thank you.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Good thing we have Prabhupada's purports. Not only should one give up his past bad habits, but he must always regret his past sinful acts. This is the standard of pure devotion. That is our takeaway for today. Haribol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada